Wait, who's Haley? That's you. 207-035.
That's
okay, great. Do you want us to? So it's really Rupal. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yes, I can see it.
You guys want to roll over here? Oh, I'm trying. Okay. Do I get a packet? Did you bring me a packet?
I didn't print it.
So no.
You can have mine.
I was really actually just looking for snacks. Hi.
Oh, you
I never have a day where I see you 3 times. That's outrageous. Deanna's gonna do the whiteboard, so if you want to come sit next to me. Yeah.
Maybe I'll see it. It's like a game or something.
Yeah, it's like a game. That's why I wanted to make it like a game. Yeah, it's so much fun. So do you want to know what we're doing? Or you're just going to tune out?
You're doing
for the first half hour.
3:30.
Yeah, you start at 3:30, so if you want to go do something else for half an hour.
What are you doing for the first half hour?
We do this thing called CAPE. It's Creating Academic Products Experience. And these guys have been, it's just a half an hour, and they are working on their projects. We go over like main concepts. So we did that for the first semester, and now they're working more with like devs. And Deanna and I played this little game with her variables and her covariates and her confounders, and she's gonna set up her sort of conceptual model for the relationship between her variables. And then everyone's in a slightly different stage, so they get to do whatever they want. That's what they're doing. I particularly like it because it's tactile.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. See, I made it fun.
I will watch it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I can sort of be seating.
Rupal, you can kind of see.
Kind of see.
Can you hear?
I can hear you guys, so I'll pay attention and.
Okay. It's sort of easier to come over here. I'm Deanna. I think I've sort of met most of you, but so my project is on moral distress in pediatric residents. So what I did was I surveyed 3 different academic residency programs, and I'm interested in this concept of moral distress, basically when people feel like they're doing something that goes against their inner moral code. And it's been linked in like the nursing literature a lot to burnout, and also specifically like end-of-life care, ICU, like that type of environment, but it hadn't really been looked at in treatment. So I've been really struggling with the sort of like predictors and outcome and kind of like how to make this conceptual model. And I think part of it is because the burnout space is very like, can be a little nebulous. Like there's always a lot of like things you can't account for. And so that's been challenging for me. So Alina and I kind of met in like December and kind of took a first stab at trying to like really explicitly say, what are my predictors and what is my outcome and like what are the covariates and confounders and that sort of thing. So this was the draft 1, and I've since kind of gone through it, and after having to write like the PAS abstract and like kind of really formalize things, I feel like I have a different model from like what I first kind of went with. But basically, maybe I'll just build my model. Moral distress is my main outcome. There's a validated tool, like a survey instrument that can kind of calculate a score, and that score has been used pretty widely in the literature. So there's some like values I can look at in other groups to see kind of how it relates. So I put that as my main outcome, and then I was collecting a lot of information as part of this survey, and it became a little bit difficult for me to identify, okay, like what's my main predictor. But I ended up choosing, sorry, I have my back to you most of the time. I ended up choosing the ICU experience, which was it was actually really the reason why I sort of did this study, and it was kind of my main hypothesis that ICU experience leads to moral distress. and mostly supported in the literature, and that moral distress has like mostly been looked at in ICUs. So I said my main predictor was ICU weeks. And I calculated kind of the number of pediatric ICU and neonatal ICU weeks and kind of aggregated them into like a variable. So obviously there's like a few confounders here because ICU weeks really, the number of ICU weeks depends a lot on your year of training. So I kind of put that here, but also your year of training might independently lead to either more moral distress or less moral distress. So that was a confounder. The other thing too, hospital site. So I thought the amount of ICU time that you do kind of depends on your program, even though there's the ACGME requirements, could be a little bit of variation. And then also, I think the nature of that ICU there might be some local cultural factors that could either play into moral distress or ICU needs. And then this one was a little bit hard for me to place sometimes, the number of patient deaths. I was trying to accumulate kind of their end of life experience, which I actually think might be a confounder in that potentially interacts with moral distress, but also is related to the number of ICU weeks potentially that you're doing. So I kind of put that here for now. And then other covariates that I don't think are true confounders, but things that may affect moral distress without the ICU are like age, race, ethnicity, like sex, religion, kind of all the demographic factors. Okay, and then things are getting complicated. So the other thing that I'm very interested in is burnout. And part of the reason why here there's two separate things is because in the first one, I was interested in moral distress as the outcome. And then in the second aim, I was going to use moral distress as the predictor and see what like burnout is as the outcome. Basically, my hypothesis was that moral distress could lead to burnout. But I'm doing a cross-sectional study, and so that interaction is like really hard to figure out. And what I realized I ended up doing in the study, and which actually I think still makes sense, was including burnout as, in some ways, a predictor, like a variable that I was measuring its association with moral distress. It could also be a mediator because, although it doesn't really interact, I think, with this, but it could be part of the pathway to get to moral distress. But I kind of like simplistically treated it as like, what is the association between burnout and moral distress? And then things that actually I think are mediators, although I do have some measurement for them. They didn't end up being very significant in my data set, but things I hypothesized would affect moral distress were things like resilience, which there are certain scales that you can use to measure resilience. Autonomy, same thing, there's like a validated scale. I thought that if you had more sort of decision-making power, maybe your moral distress was a little bit lower. And then intolerance of uncertainty is like kind of another thing that's in the literature that's linked to burnout, kind of basically how well you handle the kind of gray area in medicine. So that was kind of how I built it. I think things that were really the most challenging was like even just the basics, like figuring out the predictor and the outcome. And yeah, kind of identifying which things kind of went where, but I overall feel like this has been super helpful. And to put it on the thing explicitly kind of made me like have to commit to it, which I think is important. So if you have anything to add from our going through it.
I think I have a couple clarifying questions, and then also just for you guys as an and you too, RuPaul, is so like I felt like I wasn't sure how easy this would play if you just got it in your mailbox as a packet and had to do it yourself. What I thought was really helpful was that Deanna did have all of these variables like spinning around. Like I have to tell you, the same thing happens to me. Still, I don't know for you, Allison, where I'm like, what am I doing? But so the idea was to think about each variable, write them down on the color Post-it note that you thought you were going to cast your variable as, and then use that as to like force the relationships. Like, what am I saying? And then, like, if you go through your packet, it goes through possibly the simplest setup, which is cross-sectional. You have two variables and some confounders, and then start layering in additional ideas. And then I think that if I do remember you getting to a point where there was like an aim one,
where like our first,
yeah, so it's like ICU weeks and moral distress. And then, so is that's still aim one with all of its.
What I realized what I was actually doing was, it's actually really all part of the same aim. I was looking at multiple predictors and seeing how they affected moral distress. You could also, like, you could turn it the other way and say, does moral distress predict burnout? It's like, that's the problem because it's cross-sectional. I can't ever, like,
Well,
say, but when I did the study, like, and the way I had set it up, I thought I did it like that, but I didn't. Like, I actually was looking at burnout as a variable that contributed to moral distress, or that could be associated and predictive of moral distress.
Okay, so your hypothesis is that each of them have an independent effect on moral distress. And then after you put both of those things in, you want to see which one seems to have a greater association.
I mean, they could. Does there have to be one? Like, my results are like that there are multiple associations.
Usually we land on one primary one. I know I constantly making you choose. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But okay, so
I guess, all right. Well, clearly I wrote burnout on multiple.
Well, and then I guess when I was listening to you present this time, some of the things that ended up in orange, like you think that it mediates them, I was wondering whether or not those end up being an individual's characteristic. So like resilience.
You mean like a covariate?
Yeah. Like residents who score high on resilience compared to the ones that don't, but I don't know how much variation you have. All three of those, when you were putting them up, I was like, those sound like individual characteristics.
Yeah, that's true.
That can influence their relationship, as opposed to saying, hey, as a group.
Also, our resilience, and I don't know the literature on this, but like, are things like resilience and autonomy like linked in some way?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so like, if you're like sort of double counting things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of like collinearity between these things. Which has been a problem. Sorry.
Oh, I was just really curious about the number of the variable, the number of patient, the number of weeks in the ICU. Were these like required weeks in the ICU, or because I know sometimes you also have like elective weeks in the ICU, so I was also curious if people chose on their own volition to return to the ICU. As a primary care pediatrician, I'm aghast at the thought. I know that some people have other choices. So those people, might like have different responses to things like patient deaths or like different resiliency patterns and things like that. And I don't know if that's something that you were also able to like pick up that like granularity in your data set and account for in your modeling.
Yeah, I asked about like any ICU weeks. Okay. So it should include people that did extra, because they included even like cardiovascular ICU as like an option, which I think people interested in cardiology might like do as an elective or something like that. But yeah, so the number of ICU weeks, I forgot what I was going to say. Your second part, is how is it really, like they might have like some.
But I wonder sometimes like I wonder if maybe some of the people who actually have higher numbers of ICU weeks are the ones who actually chose to have more time in ICU. I don't know. So I don't know.
No, it's a good question. I didn't actually look at the relationship between this and these. Yeah.
Did you go into this wanting to look at the relationship between the ICU weeks and moral distress?
I was looking at ICU experience was my like big lofty sort of goal, but I ended up sort of using that as ICU exposure. That's something I could measure I had tried to get this sort of concept of end of life exposure too, but that was just very difficult to measure. And so I had tried to get a number of patient deaths and number of like palliative care or hemonc elected, things that kind of contribute to like this bigger picture, but it was very difficult to like kind of create some sort of like aggregate variable or to use. And so I felt like ICU exposure was at least something that in the literature had been like sort of supported. So that's why I kind of ended up going more specifically with that one. It's a little easier to measure. But in some ways it can be a proxy for like the real experience that I think is happening in ICU.
Because I'm sorry, I'm coming totally late into this, but like is your bigger question like what makes people have moral distress?
Yes. Yeah.
So then I think that I mean, it seems like, and that, I don't know if like this exercise was just to like this. I mean, if you have a primary, if you're like, does residency size predict moral distress? I'm just making that up. Like if you thought there was a problem you wanted to fix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my other question is like, okay, so you say you find that like the number of ICU weeks is associated, like, well, I guess the solution is maybe you cut that down. So I guess that, but
or at least target like intervention, like debriefings or kind of you can think about other ways of looking at the experience in the ICU for residents and like why they're vulnerable there.
But if you're overall just wanting to know like, well, what makes people have moral distress? It seems like multiple of these predictors are what you're interested in. And so this is an interesting exercise, but I think that in this particular case, you're going to want to put, like some of the other ones are also going to be like predictors that you're interested in too. Like number of deaths, it sounds like that you're also interested in.
Yes. In reality, I looked at all of these things and they're like,
Functionally, you put them all into the model and then you're going to get that answer too, right?
No, but it's an important thing because this is what I was struggling with. Like I did this univariate analysis for all of these variables with moral distress because that was what I was really interested in was the extent of moral distress and what's associated with it. But then when trying to kind of put together these variables to see like conceptually how do they fit together, that's where I was like struggling a lot because I like had almost too many variables in some degree.
Well, I think that also, I think that, okay, wait, I have so many things I was saying. First of all, I want to say you've done great. This is just so different from the fall.
Like where?
Yes, you're like, I don't think you have that variable. You're like, I don't have this variable. You can't use it. But I do think that maybe now we're on to even more subtle questions. Because I think what Allison's illustrating is that if you frame the question as like, hey, there's a basket of goods here, so I'm just going to show you a bunch of bivariate relationships, you're kind of done there. But if you think that there's an Uber level thing going on, then you can put them into a relationship and actually test them that way. Right. So now I think it's super clear that you've only picked out 2 predictors that you're really curious about, each of which has a different implication, I think, right? So one is like quantity, and then another one is like, how is the person feeling, right? In the moment that they're experiencing moral distress. I think we talked about this a little bit. When you put things in the mediator category, you assume that there's a primary relationship and you want to test how much each of those things in the orange change the relationship between the predictor and the outcome. So, and then what you get one beta coefficient when you're doing it just A and B, and then you add in C, and then you see how much the beta coefficient changes, and that's what you are reporting on. So you're really saying all of the effect, or whatever proportion of the effect of or relationship that is burnout and moral distress is because of resilience or lack thereof. So it's just like it's a different question. Every time you pick a different diagram, and move your variables around, you're actually asking a different question.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
What did you write in your PAS test? Yeah, like where did you land in December?
What actually happened,
Yeah.
So what actually happens was that like all of these things are predictors, and I did bivariate analysis,
Great.
and then on all of them, and then I took the ones that were significant and put them into a model, and the ones that the problem is because there's a lot of these things are like all related to each other to some degree. These were all significant with moral distress, year of training, number of patient deaths, burnout, and ICU weeks on like their bivariate, and then I did a linear regression with the moral distress. And then what we found was that some of these actually dropped out, like year of training and ICU weeks dropped out because they're like very much collinear.
Yeah.
So then if you take out year of training, then ICU weeks does have an effect on moral distress in that model.
And there's more or less moral distress. It's not
More.
obvious. More
It was more.
distress.
Yeah. Sorry, all of these were associated with more.
So I think there's this thing, you're just learning. This is all new right now. So I think everything you said is fair game. But if you don't know and you just start putting things in to see if there's a relationship and dropping them if they have positive or negative.
Oh, yeah. Like
So
multiple
it's-
testing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a multiple testing thing, but there's also a data dredging.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to make sure that that's out there. I don't think that's what you're doing. I think you are learning a new thing.
Yeah.
But like, if you proceed with your career like this is not this is not
No.
the way to
it
go.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're like, okay, these 4 things have been previously stated as having a relationship with them, but they haven't been looked at together, so I looked at them together. And I found that year of training stood out more than whatever the pink ones are.
Yeah. Patient death.
What's that?
Patient death.
I think that's really interesting that it's irrespective of death experiences.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that number of patient deaths is a good measure.
Is it a categorical, like, does no one have to write in how many?
It's like recall. Yeah, and there's no other good way to kind of. Yeah.
But moral distress isn't
Yeah.
that you're burnt out and sad because someone died. It's I don't really understand. Is moral distress more like an ethical thing? Like you feel like
Conflicted.
Yeah,
conflicted. So you could be conflicted without someone dying, and you could feel very sanguine about someone dying a peaceful death.
Right, exactly. And those were the subtleties that, like, I think ideally qualitative analysis for this type of topic is good, but the moral distress questionnaire like asks a lot about kind of prolonging or like feeling like you're prolonging a situation when like death is kind of in some ways might be more
so
peaceful.
actually like
It's built
fewer
into the
deaths
tool.
would be
Yeah, so
associated with
that's why
moral
it asks a lot of questions about death, the kind of the scale that I had. So that's why I was thinking about asking about kind of number of patient deaths, if maybe quantity has something to do with it. But I think really the quality of like the quality of experience of it is probably where it's at. But just kind of a first.
I would imagine that and again, I don't know like the moral distress scale, and I know a little bit about the burnout Wisconsin studying burnout, but I would think that the deaths and the burnout would be really highly associated. Like I'm a little bit hesitant, like at just first glance, I feel like why are burnout and moral distress on either side? Because it seems like they're two outcomes, and they're kind of like related but not related. But I don't like how does burnout conceptually? How would that predict moral distress?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, so it's not clear like that it's clear that there's an association in the literature, but like sort of the linearity of that is not clear. So there's some people that have
Like are they capturing like kind of similar things, kind of? Like I can imagine that you're like being burnt out. It can also be feeling like this is futile what I'm doing, or I'm being asked to do these, things I don't want to do. Like these, I wonder how much they're kind of different outcomes together. Not together, but like you're burnt out and like.
I mean, it's tricky too, because you could just check out emotionally from experiences and not experience distress. So it's
Right. Oh, like the depersonalization part of burnout.
I also wonder, and this is so much going on here that's really like interesting to delve into, and if there's like some point past which number of ICU years or blocks actually leads to less moral distress because you become more, adept with coping skills.
Yeah, there's a little bit of literature in like ICU and the junior faculty seem have like the highest degree of moral distress. So like at some point, right, like, but maybe it is, I don't know off the top of my head if it accounted for like how much service time they have, like how much exposure they actively have at that time, but it does seem like there may be some sort of, it's definitely maybe not like a linear relationship over time.
Great. Yay. Thank you for leaving the first one to present.
Yeah, no problem.
So it's your call. Each of you are in a really different stage with your projects. You two were full. So you don't have to present if you don't want to. You can come do, post-it notes and study design with me on our own. I think that who signed up? Was it Heather? Oh, Jackie wants to come next time, and so she's like almost near the end, and she, she's working with her paper a lot, so she just needs some fresh eyes, and I think that this group setting is great for that. I think we'll send it out in advance so that everyone has a chance to read. And then Heather is just, I think, kind of the space Deanna was in at the beginning of the year, where she's like, here are my basic ideas, and a little bit of some pressure testing about what is most important to you, because we all have ambitions that are beyond the current time frame, and not everything has to be done at once. You can sequence them. So we just have those two, and then we only have one more session. So do you have a suggestion?
I was gonna say, I'm unfortunately on vacation for the last one.
Okay.
I did see that one, and I was like,
Wait, don't we have some celebration at the end of May? No, we have like a chill session built in after PIS, right?
in May,
Yeah. In May.
This one's in March 26th.
Yeah, I was gonna say the March one
I
I
will be
will.
away for, unfortunately.
We'll miss you.
I miss you guys too.
Would you? So you guys you just lifted off your intervention.
I did. I unfortunately have class during that now, starting after spring break,
Yeah.
during the last one. But
Okay.
so I can't do that one, but I'm happy to.
Do you want to join in on next time?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can try.
Okay.
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna try your? Oh yes,
My
please do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think
then
it'll look
we'll really
different.
have to
It'll
make.
be different. But if there's there's not enough, I guess I can talk to Jackie and see what she's saying.
No, we'll just divide the time equally.
Okay.
I think for us giving Jackie feedback, then we'll need to fit into a 15-minute period. So we do have to pre-read and then like march through sections. Yeah. So I'll help. I'll help. What is that called? Mediate moderate.
I'm sort of I'm wrapping up my residency project, and now
Yeah.
I'm sort of trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. And
Yeah.
I don't have any, like that last session is my whip.
Oh, good.
At which point I hope to have like multiple ideas that we
Okay.
can talk through. So I don't really think I'm here.
No, you're not there, but you do sound like you're very much like in the same headspace as Heather.
Yeah, just trying to figure out like,
Right.
there's this idea, but like, is it feasible?
Yeah. So since you're prepping for a whip, do you want to use 15 minutes of the time that's for Heather and use the other half?
When is hers?
Like
The 26th, I believe.
I think it's in
First one in March.
the 5th.
Oh,
We have one.
the Heather. Oh,
Right,
yeah.
that's Jackie goes. And
I think her whip. is
oh,
that
it's
day.
maybe the 12th.
The 12th, that sounds right.
Maybe.
You guys switched lips, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, the 12th.